Hi, I'm Camilla from FOVU, and today I want to talk to you about something that could completely change the way you feel about ultrasound scanning: structure. Now, I know structure doesn't sound exciting at first. It might even sound a bit boring, but actually it's the complete opposite. If you've ever finished a scan and thought, did I really check everything properly? Or you've spotted something by accident and worried about what you might be missing on other cases, you are not alone. The truth is, how you scan, the structure you use matters far more than you think. It is the key to feeling confident during your scans, catching subtle abnormalities early, and trusting your own diagnostic skills. Today, I'm going to show you why structure isn't just important, it's powerful, and how a structured approach can actually make your scanning faster, easier, and far more reliable. Because here's the thing, without a structured approach, even the most experienced vets can fall into the same traps. You start scanning, but instead of moving methodically, you end up chasing images around the abdomen, hoping to spot something significant. It feels scattered, and afterwards that little voice creeps in, did I miss something important? It's not just frustrating. It can actually lead to misdiagnoses, unnecessary repeat scans, and a feeling that you just can't fully trust your own findings. The good news is there's a really simple fix. When you scan with structure, everything changes. You stop feeling like you're guessing. You stop relying on luck. Instead, you build consistency, confidence, and clarity into every single scan you do. Let's break down exactly how structured scanning transforms your skills and why it's one of the most powerful tools you can master. So let's talk about why structures matters more than you might think. When you approach every single scan with a simple, repeatable structure, 4 amazing things start to happen. First, consistency. Instead of relying on memory or instinct each time, you know exactly what steps you're following. It's like ticking off a mental checklist as you move through the scan. And that structure gives you a calm kind of confidence, even when the case is complex or you're under time pressure. It also makes your learning easier to build on. When your scanning sequence is always the same, you're not reinventing the wheel each time. You're simply refining the way you scan, adding detail, speed, and finesse with every patient. That means fewer missed structures, fewer forgotten views, and it sets a rock-solid foundation for accurate interpretation every time. Second, confidence. When you've worked through a scan methodically, you know you've looked carefully at each organ. There's no, I hope I checked the kidneys properly, or did I look at the pancreas, or just think I did. You can finish the scan without that nagging voice in your head wondering what you missed. This kind of self-trust changes everything. You don't hesitate when reporting your findings or talking to colleagues. You're not crossing your fingers and hoping you didn't miss something major. And importantly, when your team sees that kind of clarity in your reports, it helps them trust your ultrasound too. So structure doesn't just improve your confidence, it builds trust across your whole practice. Third, clarity. Structure helps you to learn what normal really looks like, not just in textbooks, but in real life patients. Over time, you start to build a mental database of what's normal in a Labrador versus a Whippet, or in a 2-year-old dog versus a 13-year-old cat. And the more clearly you understand normal, the faster you'll spot subtle changes, a slightly coarse liver texture, a small adrenal asymmetry that might otherwise be missed. This is where structure makes you a better diagnostician, not just a more organized scanner. Because the more consistent you are, the more quickly you develop the pattern recognition that makes the best clinicians stand out. And finally, efficiency. It might seem surprising, but structured scanning actually makes you faster, not slower. At first, yes, it can feel like you're taking a bit more time because you're being thorough. But once that structure becomes second nature, you're no longer backtracking or wondering, have I already done this? You're not wasting time trying to remember which organs you've checked or circling around hoping to stumble upon the abnormality. Instead, you're moving in a straight line, step by step, and that means faster scans, clearer notes, and more confident decisions. Efficiency through structure isn't just about saving time. It's also about reducing mental load, so you finish the scan with a clearer head and more mental energy for everything else you have to do that day and the decision making. Now, before we jump into a real case example, let's quickly tackle a few common myths I hear about structured scanning. Myth number 1, structure will slow me down. I hear this one all the time, especially from vets who feel under pressure in busy consults or just want to get the scan done. And I get it. When you're scanning a wriggly patient or dealing with time constraints, anything that feels like it might take longer can sound unappealing. But the truth is, once you've learned a solid structure, you actually become quicker and more efficient because you're not hesitating, you're not zigzagging between structures or second guessing yourself. You are moving methodically with purpose, and that reduces your scan time and your stress levels. It's a bit like using a sat nav instead of guessing your way across town. It might take a few seconds to plug in the route, but you'll arrive much faster and with fewer wrong turns. Myth number 2, structure is only for beginners. This one's a big misconception. Some people think that as you get more advanced, you can ditch the structure and rely on instinct, but actually the opposite is true. The best ultrasonographers I know follow structured frameworks. They've just made those frameworks so automatic, so seamless that it looks like instinct. But underneath, the structure is still there, guiding every move. Think of it like a concert pianist. They still follow the structure of the piece, they just make it look effortless because of the practice. So structure isn't a crutch, it's what supports excellence. Myth number 3, if the patient only has a GI problem, why bother scanning everything else? So this one is understandable. We're trained to be problem focused. But in ultrasound, tunnel vision can be risky because the body doesn't always follow our assumptions. Vomiting might point you to the stomach and the rest of the GI tract. But what if the problem is actually renal failure? Or if there's an adrenal gland issue? Or, as in the case I'm about to share, something lurking in the lungs? A structured scan protects you from missing the unexpected. It ensures that even the clinical signs are vague or misleading, you're covering all the major systems and giving the patient the best chance of an accurate diagnosis. And let's be honest, sometimes it's the structure that saves the day. Now, let me give you a real example from a recent case. A dog was booked in for an abdominal scan. The main complaint was vomiting, with an occasional cough noted on the history. Now, it would have been really easy to focus purely on the gastrointestinal tract. Check out the stomach, the intestines, maybe the pancreas, and call it a day. But because I was following a full structured approach, the FOVU abdominal scanning framework, including scanning through the liver into the thoracic cavity, I picked up something far more serious. I could see a nodular pattern throughout the lungs. It suggested infiltrative disease, something that would absolutely not have been spotted if I just zeroed in on the gastrointestinal tract. That thorough structured scan completely changed the direction of investigation and management for this dog. Without it, the underlying disease might have gone undiagnosed until it was much more advanced. And that is the power of structure. It's not just about being methodical, it's about making sure you don't miss the bigger picture, even when the clinical signs seem to point you in a particular direction. Now, one thing I think it's really important to say, structure doesn't stay rigid forever. When you're just starting out, a structured scan might feel a little mechanical, like ticking off a checklist. And that's completely normal. It's part of the learning process. But as you scan more patients, that structure becomes second nature. You're still following the same framework, but it starts to feel fluid. You can flex with it, adapt to what you find, and your eye naturally gets drawn to subtle changes. At FOVU, that's exactly how we teach it. In our basics course, we help you to build your core structured approach, so you always know exactly where you are in the scan and what you've checked. Then in our trickier bits course, we build on that structure, adding in harder to find organs like the pancreas and adrenals, and teaching you how to extend your framework without feeling overwhelmed. It's all about evolving your scanning style without losing the security and consistency that structure gives you. And coming soon, we'll be adding another layer of support with a FOVU report tool, helping you apply the same structured thinking to how you record your findings. So if you're watching this and thinking, I want that confidence when I scan, you're absolutely not alone. Structured scanning is a skill you can learn, and it's one of the biggest gifts you can give yourself and your patients. If you're ready to build that solid foundation, our Veterinary Ultrasound the Basics course is the perfect place to start. It will give you a clear, easy to follow framework for every abdominal scan you do. And if you're already confident with the basics and ready to find those smaller, trickier structures like the pancreas, adrenals, and lymph nodes, then our trickier bits course is ready to help you level up. I'll pop the links below if you want to find out more. And if you've had that feeling of scanning and wondering, did I really check everything properly? Or if you've had a win because structure helped you catch something important, I would love to hear about it. Drop a comment below or send me an email. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.